WXII 12 News at 5 starts right now.
All of a sudden, I heard shots fired and heard yelling and commotion.
A tragedy in Southern California. Crews respond to a fire at a senior care facility only to be ambushed by gunfire. What investigators are saying about the suspect.
And a string of shootings all happening within a matter of hours yesterday in the Triad. 3 people are dead. Police don't have any suspects just ahead, but they're asking the public to do.
And 26 years ago today, a Winston-Salem lieutenant was killed at the line of duty. What the department is doing to honor him today. And good morning. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Kimberly Van Scoy.
And I'm Devontae McKenna. First at 5, as always, to check on your forecast.
Yep.
It was a rainy night across the Piedmont Triad. Check out this video from Wilkes County. You can see rain filling up a sinkhole near the Taco Bell on Highway 421. The big question, Brian, will we see any more severe storms today?
I don't think so. I think it's a little bit more tame. We do have some light and patchy showers in the area. The chance for thunder is still with us, but I think most of that's going to be south and west of us. Here is the 18-hour radar recall. You can see the heavy lightning show that came in out of the west. Storms were hung up in the ridgeline for a short period of time, and now that wet weather is beginning to move out. Showery weather from Mount Airy through the Triad and Asheboro. Then things begin to really sag southward, hitting Randolph and Montgomery County pretty hard, and that did cause some downed trees scattered across the area. These are all the reports of wind damage in the last 24 hours. Eastern Kentucky, Tennessee, throughout much of the Carolinas, especially across the western half of the state, but it did affect the south as well. Again, tree damage was limited to a tree or two in these communities. That did include Yadkinville, Wilkesboro, Danbury up near Mount Airy as well, Lexington and Denton, both in Davidson County, reporting trees down on a home. Also in Asheboro, we had a few trees down, as well as Louisville and Clemens. Beneficial rains are most beneficial west, and I think we got through without really too much flash flooding at all. Rainfall in the brighter greens and yellows that you see indicating 1 to 2 inch rainfall totals, with higher rainfall totals exceeding about 3 inches in a few cases. But most of that wet weather was farther west. Again, about 1 to 3 inch totals in the area, especially near Randolph County, where we had 1 to 2+ inches of rain there, and estimated rainfall was pretty substantial over the west and the north mostly, but then we got kind of shut out across our eastern areas. Rainfall is fading, but it'll be a gradual process today. We'll see temperatures in the upper 70s. The severe weather risk is much lower today, and mainly across South Carolina and the western part of the state too.
It was a violent 12 hours in Greensboro yesterday.
3 separate shootings left 3 people dead and 1 person hurt. Brianna Connor is live this morning at the Greensboro Police Department to break down each shooting as police continue to look for those shooters. Good morning, Brianna.
Yeah, Devontae, a lot of people out here waking up feeling pretty uneasy. As for police, they are interviewing witnesses, going over surveillance video and any evidence collected at the scenes of these shootings yesterday, and really trying to track down these killers. Meanwhile, community leaders are stepping up, trying to find new ways to combat this violence. More on that in just a moment, but first, let me take you through what happened yesterday. Around 11 o'clock Monday morning, someone shot and killed Darren Herbin. Police found his body near the shopping center at Freeman Mill Road and Florida Street. Then around 3:40 that afternoon, there was a double shooting at an apartment in the 900 block of East Cone Boulevard. 1 man died out there. The other was taken to the hospital and is last listed in critical condition. After that, gunshots rang out again around 7:30 in the 4200 block of Sumner Ridge Lane. Someone shot and killed Michael Ingram. No one's been arrested in any of these cases, so police are pleading with the public for information.
One of the keys, I think, that we're going to have to do to address violent crime, especially going into our summer months where we historically see an increase in violence. We want to make sure that our relationships are strong so that people talk to us not only on incidents like this, but in situations that we can prevent incidents like this.
And looking ahead, community leaders are also planning to meet around noon to call for an end to this violence and new ways to combat and have conversations about how to prevent these types of deadly shootings. I've got more information about that on my Facebook fan page. Right now, I'm Brianna Connor, live in Greensboro, WXII 12 News.
Brianna, thank you. 5:05 happening now. Winston-Salem police are still searching for the person who shot 3 people late Sunday night. They say someone started shooting out of a car on East 17th Street and North Cleveland Avenue. One of the victims remains in critical condition this morning. 2 other people were grazed by bullets. Police say they are looking for 3 men who drove one of those victims to the hospital inside a silver Ford Focus.
A Piedmont family is mourning the loss of a young pregnant woman this morning. She was killed during a chase with Highway Patrol in Rockingham County. Troopers say they tried to stop a car on Hampton Road for speeding when the driver took off, eventually losing control and hitting a tree. 18-year-old Miranda Galindo was in the back seat. She died from her injuries. There is no word on if charges will be filed.
Richard Oldman Harrison from the reality show Pawn Stars has died after a long fight with Parkinson's disease. Harrison spent much of his childhood in Lexington. The city even dubbed May 29th, 2012 as Richard Harrison Day. He, his son, and grandson starred in a show about their Las Vegas pawn shop. Harrison was 77 years old.
It has been 26 years since a Winston-Salem police lieutenant was killed in the line of duty, and today the city will honor him with a remembrance ceremony. It was on this day in 1992 that Lieutenant Aaron Tice was killed when a man driving a stolen piece of construction equipment crushed the lieutenant's police vehicle and him. The driver, Conrad Cruz, was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. Earlier this month, he was denied parole for the 11th time. That remembrance ceremony will be at 8 this morning at the Public Safety Center on North Cherry Street. The Honor Guard will place a wreath and stand watch.
Right now at 5:07, the law that replaced the controversial bathroom bill is back in the headlines this morning. Members of the ACLU say transgender people in North Carolina are living in fear. Transgender plaintiffs say House Bill 142 still discriminates because it temporarily prevents local officials from passing laws to protect LGBT rights.
You know, this has been a years-long process. It's exhausting. You know, it's taken a toll on our community, and it's caused a lot of harm for years now. And we deserve to live, to study, to work free from fear of consequences, of repercussions, of just trying to be ourselves and be in public life.
The defendants say the plaintiffs are trying to drag out arguments and, quote, blow up a controversial issue about a political process. No word this morning when the judge could make a final decision. Well, next this morning, a murder mystery out of Southern California. A father is shot to death while sleeping in a tent next to his daughters. What we know this morning about the victims and possible suspects.
I'm Jennifer Davis in Washington, where Republicans say they want to act on the border crisis before leaving for a holiday break. But the clock is ticking, and they can't seem to agree.
Always available on the free WXII 12 app. Stay connected with meteorologist Brian Slocum on his Facebook page.
All right, cloudy skies are still with us. Most of the wet weather, at least from the storm perspective, has moved on, but it's still plenty damp this morning. We had a frog in the studio. Even the frogs are tired of the rain a little earlier this morning. I'll share a picture of that coming up in a little bit. We had some rain coming around over the area along Highway 421, I-40, seeing some good rains between Winston-Salem and Greensboro at the moment. Those rains will gradually fade. We don't lose them entirely, and the reason why is that the front that we were hoping would get through and really cool us down for today is parked directly overhead. It's just sitting there, and it's pooling the moisture, and it's going to help create additional patchy showers through at least the morning and then tapering down a bit as we head into the afternoon. Overall, though, things are going to be fairly quiet going forward. Another front brings a better rain chance in for tomorrow, including a chance for a few thunderstorms. Now, our thunder threat is lower today. It's mostly going to be across South Carolina, northern Georgia, and the western Carolinas in general. But a thunderstorm will be a possibility. We're just not going to see the strong winds and the organization that we had yesterday. Temps are cooler this morning, mainly 60s as you get out the door today. Still holding on to lower 70s from Danville to Burlington, but mid to upper 60s over the majority of the area this morning. A high of around 78 degrees, give or take. We could see 80 in a spot or two, especially south and east. But rain chances gradually starting to scale back as we go into the afternoon today. Quick look at your foothills forecast. Most impactful weather will be early. We'll taper rain chances down after a high of 77 degrees. A high of 73 in many mountain locations with best rain chances also early today. If you're hoping for a long-term cool down, keep hoping. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s for Wednesday, lower 90s beginning Thursday, and hot and humid air returns just in time for the weekend, and we'll head into July in the next couple days too.
And now to our Washington newsroom. House Republicans are going back to the drawing board to craft a new immigration bill.
And they are focusing on a bill to deal with the separations of families at the southern border. Jennifer Davis is live in Washington with the latest. Jennifer?
Hi there, Kim and Devontae. We're expecting lots of behind-the-scenes talk on immigration today as the president lunches with lawmakers and House Republicans hold a closed-door session to map out their options before leaving for their 4th of July recess at the end of the week.
What we have is two extremes, and I liked it. I said, hey, this is fine for us.
President Trump doubled down on immigration at a Monday night rally, telling a South Carolina crowd the uproar is politically advantageous for Republicans. Unable to find the votes to address a sweeping immigration overhaul in Congress, Republicans are now looking at a more narrow bill to stem the crisis of separating immigrant families at the border. Meanwhile, Democrats say the administration isn't doing enough to quickly reunite the some 2,000 children separated from their parents.
The situation the president is moving us towards is a real humanitarian disaster.
A Republican bill is expected to be voted on in the House this week, although revisions are still being made and the timing, Kim and Devontae, is uncertain. Back to you.
And Jennifer, what is being done on immigration on the Senate side?
Well, right now, lawmakers there are looking for compromises. Republicans are not just with Democrats, but they're looking for an approach that will line up with what the president wants. What we've seen so far from the Senate Republicans is a recommendation of adding 200 more immigration judges that would speed up the process of processing all of these claims at the border. But that's something the president has said he doesn't want. He said that as recently as yesterday.
All right, thank you, Jennifer Davis, live in Washington. Well, former President George H.W. Bush is sharing these photos on his Twitter page. Former President Bill Clinton visited him at his home in Maine yesterday. Bush called Clinton a great friend and says he wore a pair of socks with Clinton's face on them to mark the occasion. These two also took pictures with Bush's service dog, Sully. The yellow lab can open doors, pick up items, and summon help, like the socks.
Happening now at 519, a murder investigation at a senior care home in Southern California. One firefighter is dead this morning. A second firefighter and a citizen are both recovering. Investigators say a 77-year-old man at the senior care home facility intentionally set a fire, then shot at first responders. A 17-year veteran of the Long Beach Fire Department was killed. Two suspicious devices were found inside the suspect's room. That man is in police custody this morning, facing arson and murder charges.
And now to another story out of Southern California. Police say that a father was camping with his two young daughters when he was gunned down on Friday. And as of this morning, there is no suspect or motive. Miguel Almaguer has more on this murder mystery.
When sheriff's deputies arrived at Malibu Creek State Park, the victim had been shot multiple times, gunned down as he camped with his children in the early morning hours. Investigators say someone opened fire on 35-year-old Tristan Beaudet from outside his tent. His 2- and 4-year-old daughters by his side were not injured.
About 4:44 in the morning, the sheriffs received a 911 call and responded and found a male victim of a gunshot.
A chemist who attended UC Berkeley, friends say Beaudet was camping with his girls so his wife, a doctor, could prepare for an exam. His family, who was moving to the Bay Area, says not a second goes by that we aren't grappling with the senselessness of this crime.
He was just a family man. And that's where he was geared for, just to take care of his family and be there for them.
Less than 30 miles outside Beverly Hills, Malibu Creek offers incredible views and is known for its Hollywood backdrop in shows like MASH.
But there has been recent trouble in the park. A body was found nearby, discovered 2 weeks ago, and investigators are looking into a string of shootings that for now are not connected.
The iconic campground is closed, and with no suspect, the case of this murder mystery is wide open. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, Malibu.
Next on WXII 12, a new shared-use commercial kitchen is now open in Forsyth County. What it will give chefs and caterers the opportunity to do. It is 5:21 right now. You're watching WXII 12 News.